Welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and with me tonight we have the Doc Polite. I like that hat, Doc.
Oh, thank you. I've been running around getting hats and all that stuff. You know, this bald head get cold.
You coming with a number of different flares lately, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay young. 65 ain't no joke.
No, man, listen to you. You're drinking that youth water. That's what you're doing. Hey, but for those of you who are curious about where the general is still on special assignment. And man, when I tell you, the general's been busy lately. So we're going to just continue to wish him luck, of which he doesn't need. But, hey, Attorney Greg Jackson is out there. He's on it, y'all. So continue to wish him luck.
Bro, say he don't need luck. He got skills.
He got skills. Hey, he reminds you of that old saying. They say if you ever see me and a bear in a fight,
help the bear.
Help the bear.
I ain't never touched that.
Hey, help the bear. Help the bear.
We talked about that the other day, and I was surprised you didn't know that was actually a song from the 60s. Yeah,
I did. But see, you go deep, Doc. You know a lot of that stuff, man. I didn't know that was there.
Yeah, it's just I've always been like that, just a sponge for information and knowledge. I don't know, my grandmother was like that, and my mom as well. But I guess I kind of got it from them.
But man, I tell you, I don't know where this comes from, man. But I'm just a political junkie sometimes, man. Trying to get all the information on both sides, man, trying to figure out what's going on. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, Doc. Also, Doc, let me ask you a question. Do you ever wonder, or you ever curious about where do those people go that promise everything when they're running for office, and then if they don't win, it's almost like the
it's the take my ball and go home phenomenon. That's what I call it.
Yeah, but that deal that they do with professional athletes and celebrities, they go back and ask, where are they now?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to serving in public office, when it comes to politics, when it comes to being a candidate for office, I'm just real curious, man. I mean, and this is not a hit to anybody, but we hear people promise the star, the moon, and the sun, and talk about everything that they are presently involved in, but then when it's over and they don't come out on top, I'm curious sometimes, where are they?
Well, Ron, I'll tell you, one of the things I noticed now, in particular, and it's not just Central Florida. I want to say that first off.
Yeah, you're right.
I think what happens is people feel rejected by the voters, and they feel that the voters have rejected their idea. And some of them, while their heart was in the right place, their heart wasn't their full motive. A lot of these people, to me, they think that getting in office will make them somebody, when the fact of the matter is that doing the work is what makes them somebody. You don't need the title to do the work. The work is independent of the title.
And I agree with you 100%. But Doc, communities wouldn't turn down the help from a volunteerism standpoint. I mean, there's things that a lot of people that have been out there volunteering, those are some of the reasons why they get involved in running for office. But again, Doc, this is not to, to shame anybody or anything like that. But you get curious about, where did they go? What happened? I mean, did that fervor just go away?
No, I think, like I said, I think that their idea of why they were running for office, it didn't pan out. So they might feel that, hey, the community wanted somebody else. Well, and as that may make people withdraw. You never, I'm just speculating, just like you, we're seeing it from a perspective, but you're absolutely right. Far too often, people run for office, and if they don't win, they disconnect,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't hear from them again. And that really makes voters and people in the community say, "Well, were you really running to help?"
But Doc, that is something that I think is a great segue into another conversation that we are going to have. But let me let everybody know, hey, you're tuned in to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love. And with me tonight, co-host is Doc Polite. And, we're soliciting those ideas from you. We're soliciting innovations. And even if you don't agree, that's all right, because part of this process is sharpening that doggone saw. And I think if we always agree with each other, we're not making any progress. But for those of you who are tuned in, please, you're welcome to call in and share some of your thoughts. That phone number is area code 407-921-6195. Once again, 407-921-6195. Doc, where I was going with that is this. Think about relationships. And think about, you ever find yourself seeing your telephone ring and then you look at that name on the screen and you haven't heard from that person in such a long time, and you know without a doubt that it's a call because they need something.
Well, yeah, I have had that in the past. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've learned some tricks to kind of eliminate those kind of calls.
What are some of
And
those things?
well, one of them is um, don't you do it. Be the resource to teach them how to do it. Whatever they're calling for, turn it back around on them. You have to turn it around on them and say, "Well, did you try this? Did you do that? Okay, go do those things first, and come back and let me know how it goes."
Put the work back on them.
Right. Because oftentimes people will call you because you may have the ability to make the road easier, lighter, or whatever, and they don't want to go through the process. Well, everybody got to deal with the process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where your strength comes. When you can endure and go through that process and come out, then you don't need intervention. I don't need Rod Love to go talk to the mayor if I myself work to establish a relationship with the mayor and with City Hall, and it's one built of mutual respect and support. Then I don't need Rod Love to go let me talk to the mayor or tell the mayor this. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, and Doc, there's some other things. I mean, come on, let's be frank. Because there's not enough time in the day, the week, the month to just be directly engaged with a little bit of everybody. It's just not enough time. But here's some of the things that you got to think about doing. Because we have so many venues for communication now. And I do it. I'm going to just go ahead and say I do it often. I'll shoot a text out, man, to people that I have a relationship with to say, hey, how's it going? Just touching base with you. I mean, it doesn't always have to be picking up the phone or saying, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat. Let's go. But coffee works for everybody. Everybody got to eat. But just simple things such as those text messages, emails, maintaining some level of continuity of relationship so you don't look up and you haven't talked to a person in a year or so. And when you see them pop up on your phone, you know it's something up.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't learn that, especially at the entry business level. And Representative Anton kind of touched on that last week, where he was talking about how he reached across the aisle. He had those relationships that he built before,
and he did a good
going up there, and that's what you got to think about. Be of service also. meet people and see what they need. See if you can help them before you go to them and ask for their help. What
But
is it that you
that was
know?
a teachable moment by him because he was basically saying he didn't wait until the legislative session started for him to develop a relationship with the Speaker of the House. But if
Right?
you got to wait till the session start to do that, it's already too late.
Yeah, you running up there and everybody now the person got a line around them and everybody's trying to ask for favor. Them people that have a relationship, guess where they're gonna go? To the front of the line. Hey,
Yeah.
I know Bruce. You know what I'm saying? I know him. So we had lunch the other week. I know about his kids. He know about my kids, and those sort of things because people always want to work with people they know share their values.
And Doc, it's never too late to start developing relationships. I mean, and I would advise, young people even more so in terms of developing those relationships. Boy, you start it young, then it's going to come real natural to you as time goes on. But, some of the people that we've seen that have mastered, and I'm going to bring this person up because I think a great deal of this individual, and I see how they move. And that is Dick Batchelor, who was a former House of Representative. Dick knows a little bit of everybody, and
Yeah,
not just in Central Florida. And he's able to get you in the door just based on his maintenance of relationships in this town.
yeah. And he's been doing that a long time. I remember that name from when I was a boy. You know, and he's one of those people that can go into just about all the rooms, and it's and his name doesn't carry the expletives behind it.
Yeah.
You know,
The thing I really like about Dick, man, is that he's amenable and willing to work with everybody, man, uh, when it comes to solving problems. And you know what? We don't need to just stay focused on community-based issues. Dick has a lot. I mean, he's multifaceted, man. When you talk about business, when you talk about community relationships and things of that nature, man, this guy is on the ball. And like I said, he's always been one to extend his hand.
listen, I want to do this. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, say no, we can't do that.
What's
Okay,
that?
okay. Because I think people need to understand what we're talking about. When you get that, when you see that phone call, right? And it's that person that you don't want to deal with. What goes through your mind?
What goes through my mind?
Yeah. What is the reaction? Because I don't know. I don't think a lot of people understand when they're that person. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. But you know what, Doc? I will say to you this: there's nobody really that I, take a position. I don't want to talk. I'll talk to even hey, Doc, even some of my nemesis. I will gladly have that conversation because you know whether or not or where that conversation is going. But to your point, I will tell you that I do think long and hard, when you have those situations because you never know. And I'll tell you, and I won't name this individual, but me and an individual, we had a difference of opinion, let's call it, and we would see each other in public. We respect each other, but we would make sure we would go our separate ways. Uh, this individual a few months ago called me up, and when I saw their name come up on my phone, I did take a deep breath, Doc. Took a deep breath because I was like, okay, where is this about to go? But I took the phone call, and I'm glad that I did because that individual was reaching out, invited me to go break bread, and we were able to put bygones behind us. And I'm not going to say it was one of those deals where when we got together to break bread, it happened just like that. No, it didn't. We had to address what sent us in opposite directions of one another, and still to this day, we don't agree, but we agree that we should not have allowed something such as that to really take us off the map based on the things that we could come together to benefit communities for. So it's tough sometimes though. It's tough.
But do you feel that that's the way? Well, is that the way to handle it, or is that how Rod handles
That's how I handle it. But
it?
Doc, I got to be totally honest with you, man. That's how I handled that. Um, am I proud of how I may have handled some other situations where I just, outright said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm not going down that path anymore. On some situations, Doc, I mean, again, I'm not proud that I've kind of closed the door on certain situations, but you get to a point, and it's individual for everybody. You may handle something the way you want to handle it, and other people are going to do what they need to do for themselves.
Well, I tell you, I have two ways that I handle it. I either don't deal with you no more, and I tell you why. I lay it out for you, and it's usually because you have either knowingly lied on me or about me, or you have blatantly disrespected me. And those are two things I don't deal with. And the reason I say that about the lying is because I'm not gonna lie on me.
Mm.
I'm not. I will tell if I did something or I was behind something. I will tell you. You will know. I don't throw a rock and hide my hand. Number one.
But
And
Doc,
usually when I'm addressing people, Rod, it's a problem. It's not them. You understand? And that's the other thing. If we got a disagreement over a problem, guess what? We cool. I can come and talk to you and work with you because the problem was the problem.
yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We ain't agree on it. That's okay. I don't get mad because you have a difference of an opinion about something than I do. That's personal. If you take it to that, now if you go and run your mouth and say that MF and all this, now we into trouble. Oh
Hey,
well,
hey,
like
hey,
he
Doc,
ain't
Doc,
agree
Doc,
with me.
so let me ask you this: how do you cross that with? And I know a lot of people quote this person because she was a phenomenal woman. She's no longer with us, um, and she was so eloquent with her poetry. She was so eloquent with the profound thoughts that she put behind it. Uh, but you hear people say oftentimes and this is I'm quoting Maya Angelou, uh,
Mhm.
when a person shows
People,
you who they are,
people
believe
believe
them
it.
the first time. But
Right.
Doc, it,
But
there's
what she's saying in that quote, and a lot of people miss the nuance of this is that when people show you they are, believe them. And when you get to believe them, deal with them accordingly to who they are. That's what people skip over. It's not like, oh, it's like if I know you steal stuff out of people pocketbook, I won't send you in the coat room to get somebody's pocketbook. You get what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
I know who you are.
So
And that's the gist of what she's saying.
so you're saying, and you're answering my question. Uh, you're building it around having some mercy and grace, because if you took that on the face of it and said, okay, since I know who you are and I'm gonna take at face value who you are the first time, that means I'm not gonna deal with you anymore. No, you're saying don't deal with him on that.
Yeah. And that's a superpower, Rod. Think about it. You can still help people and work with people if you learn how to read people and know what their strengths and their weaknesses are and work with them in the areas that they're strong. Put them to work in areas where you know that their strengths will shine through and you're not relying on them for the other parts. See,
Yeah.
that's what leaders have to learn to do. You have to be strategic. You know, um, uh, a friend of ours had two employees that they had ended up having to get rid of because they weren't his strength. They weren't his strength. They were more of a problem. They brought more problems than they solved.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I told that friend of ours, hey, you need to get rid of this. This ain't working, and I can see it. And then they turned around, and it was proven to them. And thank God they shook house and cleaned up everything. And now it's running much smoother for them because they were keeping their problem at the forefront. And the problem was that those two employees didn't have strengths in them areas at all.
Hey, Doc, here's something, man. I want to lay out for you because you
Mm-hmm.
used to be an Orange County resident. Now you're a proud Lake County resident. But Doc, Orange County is expanding the number of commissioners. I think well, come this election, it'll expand from 6 to 8. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have 2 additional districts. Doc,
Mm-hmm.
we've had conversations about being able to measure leadership. I think, man,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to become more important now than ever before. And when we talk about measuring leadership, talking about how are you actually impacting your constituents. And I mean, everybody, once you're in office, you have a track record. You develop a track record. The question is, how effective are the citizenry measuring? And there's not an instrument or an organization per se. Yeah, you got some citizen groups out there, but I think, man, it's going to become more important now than ever before. How do you measure the leadership? Because it almost appears, and it's a good thing we do have term limits, but on the face of it, man, we don't need seat warmers, if you would.
Well, the first thing I would tell you how you know you got good leadership. The good leadership is going to come in, and the first thing they're going to see what the triage issue is. And what I mean by that is what is the key problem area that most of the constituents are dealing with in my district? What is it? I went around and did basically a survey on a campaign. I won't say who campaign it was, but I told them, I said, I went around and here's what I found out. The majority of the people in your district are struggling with utility bills. I said upwards of almost 70% of them are dealing with monthly utility bills in excess of $350. And I told them this is the thing that you can use as an issue to run on. How you will address this? How can you assist them in that? And they chose to listen to their wife, who has never worked on a campaign, and they ended up not winning. You cannot ask people to make you a leader and you're not willing to listen to what they tell you is the main problem. When they say keep the main thing, you have to keep it the main thing. And that's what these new commissioners are going to have to understand. One thing I can say now about District 5 Orlando, when Regina Hill was in there, I don't know Shan Rose. I don't wish her hate or anything, or nothing. I'm indifferent towards that. But one thing I can say is that at constituent level, Regina was able to get in there and help people with what they call pocketbook issues. Those things that are dealing with unexpected bring chaos or issues to a family. And she did that from day one.
But one of the things, man, that I think is important to take place is law enforcement utilize what's called CompStat. They would look at what are the issues where are the majority of calls for service, what type of calls for service, so that you can understand where to target your limited resources at. I think that is something in particular when you look at single member districts. Elected officials can look at that. You know, you got certain districts in Orange County that don't have an exorbitant amount of calls for service, for delinquency, for child welfare. So when you see that, what other areas does your district have a high need for? I mean, septic tanks was an issue.
Yeah, but see, and that goes back to voter education. Now, what a commissioner will have to educate their constituents on is the fact that the school board is going to be the one that's going to have to deal with the delinquency issue as far as students. Now, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, school board, really, tell you the truth, Doc, they're not per se dealing with the delinquency piece with youth, and I'm just isolating that as.
Are you saying youth crime?
But no, what I'm really saying is need, NEED. If you look at your district and identify what is the most important issues to the constituents that live in your district. Now, if you look at one district and look at the empirical data, calls for service for youth might be one of the issues. But if you look at another district, they may not be on sewer, they may be on septic. The issue may be, hey, we need to get converted to sewer. So what I'm saying is, no matter what the need is, identify what those needs are in your district, and those are the ones that you have an overwhelming focus on. I mean,
see, now you're gonna get me on the CPAS path. You're gonna get me on that, because that for y'all that don't know, CPAS is something that
you know, for those who don't know what it is, it's contract performance analysis system.
Yeah, and I was trying to say, my mind went. It's invented by CGI Tech, in which Rod works with that entity, and what they have come up with is a contract management portal that shows you the outcomes in dealing with certain areas. It can be adapted for many things, and what it does, it shows you where your problem areas are, what you can budget for, how many man hours that is needed, how many man hours are used, are you getting a good return on your tax dollars for those services, and make sure that the vendors are actually performing to the metrics of the program. So they can't tell you, say, yeah, I saw 18 kids, and you look in there in the portal and you say, where? I only see 2 that signed in this week. So what it does, it compels performance. It absolutely compels performance, because it's saying, if it's not written down, if it's not documented, if it's not in the system, it didn't take place.
And it eliminates the theory. Hey, Doc, somebody texts and said, hey, man, they would love to see your hat, because I guess you cut off a little bit. But Doc, when we talk about CPAS actually came from some of the CompStat stuff 20 years ago, when, you know, I had the honor and privilege of traveling the state, working with law enforcement around the country, and looking at technology and things of that nature. And now we've advanced so far forward to where, you know, AI is incorporated. But Doc, CPAS is even engaging where had Pastor Richard King a few months ago have a conversation with me regarding, hey, Rod, can CPAS be utilized in the ministry? And this is something, Doc, I didn't even think about, because, you know, we can customize CPAS. And I said, Red, what would you like CPAS to tell you that deals with your church? And he says, to me, and it was just so profound because I never thought about CPAS being utilized like this before. But in his words, he says,
Mhm.
and I need to be able to measure my ministry. And we continued that conversation and kept talking. And he says, are my members bringing other people to the forefront? If they are, it can be measured. What are they doing out in communities in terms of being supportive?
Exactly. Evangelizing and doing benevolence.
But it measures what
And,
you're doing.
and yeah,
Because and I have a lot of preacher friends, as you know, but it will take you to a point to where you don't have to say I'm serving hundreds of people, because when and I'm one of the people who often would respond to those pastors. Who are you serving? How do you know you're serving hundreds? Where is that targeted population coming from? What's the breakdown of ethnicity? What's the breakdown of male, female? Those are the things that once you break that down, it helps you navigate a whole lot better too.
yeah. And you're not flying by the seat of your pants.
You're right.
You can look at the data. I mean, I love empirical data, and I would rather have that data as a starting point than trying to just guesstimate.
Doc, you know where else data is being utilized real critically in? And that is in politics.
Oh yeah.
Doc, just to give an update, because all eyes are watching in Texas. Texas State Senator, and I'm gonna use the word that's been used in the news, Shaka, where a Democrat flipped North Texas, and the question is, what happened? Say again.
About 14 points.
Yeah, Democrat won a special state Senate seat in a district that Republicans expected to hold. And, it goes on in terms of why it matters. Individuals are paying attention to what takes place in politics as well, man. So empirical data matters no matter what it is you're doing.
Yeah, but we're living in very interesting times, because I meant to tell you this before in our pre-show talk. I don't know if you've seen the alleged letter that has popped up accusing Sheriff Grady Judd of having sex in the Epstein files. Now, this is alleged. I saw it online, and I was like, "This is this." First of all, I absolutely don't believe it.
Yeah.
This is a problem in the AI. This is a problem in the AI.
Yeah, Doc. That whole thing, man. I mean, when you talk about AI, when you talk about TikTok is full of allegations here and there. I mean, all you got to be is somebody, and your name pops up somewhere, man.
Yeah.
But Doc, I will say this too. I do believe it's high time that government caught up with the advent of technology, because you got people creating AIs. You got people out here that is going beyond the sticks and stones. They're going straight into slander. I think government needs to catch up with that.
Listen, it's not government. It's the tech company. They don't want that accountability.
But now, where does accountability come from? That accountability is going to come from government.
I know, but what they say in politics, follow the money. So, you got to think in those terms too. Remember, money is now free speech in politics, and millions of dollars that speak very loud.
If people knew that if you go out and you're going to make a statement and you're going to slander a person, and you realize that you got to stand behind your words and you got to back the words up with proof, then I think you'll see a limited degree of people actually going out on a limb.
And all you got to do, right now, we have the technology to do it with the blockchain.
So you bring the blockchain in.
Okay, a blockchain is a a sequence of numbers that can't be replicated. Most of them are, well, the basic blockchain is like 128 characters wide. Okay. Now there is a reader that reads that blockchain, that deciphers it. That's what crypto is built on, the blockchain. You can't fake that number. Well, blockchain can be used in identity as well. And if you got a blockchain number, it can't be duplicated. The only way it can get out into the wild is if you put it out there. Then that's on you. You're responsible.
But okay, I hear what you're saying with that. But look, and I understand that blockchain is a larger series of numbers. But think about how often people's social security numbers, and I know,
it's not the characters. Okay, social security numbers is not hard to replicate. You're not going to sit there and replicate 128 characters, not numbers, a sequence, and they have to be perfectly in sequence. Everyone has to be perfect. So there's a way to turn that blockchain into text.
So that's a layer of protection.
Right. But what I'm talking about, when your name is on that email, when your email comes through, right, or you up that file, there's metadata in there. If I inject your blockchain name identity onto that metadata, now I know it was you that made that meme, that made that fake video.
Okay, so now you know it's me. Okay, what I mean, I think from the legislative standpoint,
now I can hold you responsible for creating it, and it's not free speech. Now you're getting into libel.
But Doc, if there's no laws put in place for that,
there is laws. There's laws. You can't. It's just like the you can't holler
fire. Yeah, but Doc,
it's the same principle. You can't just say things without proof. What do they say about libel? The truth is the absolute defense against slander and libel. That's the only thing. If you say that, you are putting in the public a false slander or allegation against that person.
Doc, it's been many of individuals, man, that have gone and filed and got themselves an attorney, and at the end of the day, basically, it was a waste of, well, I guess for some that I'm familiar with.
We could change the laws.
But that's what it's going to take. That's my whole point. It's going to take government from a legislative perspective catching up to the technology that exists, because right now it's not. And I think this stuff is getting so dangerous, man, that I think, unfortunately, and I'm sad to say this, that people are going to get hurt before we actually see laws put in place.
Well, people are already getting hurt. They are already dealing with that. Case in point, these death threats that the victims in the Epstein files are getting, because
I saw that.
Yeah, and that's because DOJ didn't redact their names and their images on some of the documents. And
so what's the damages to
so now these not only have they been traumatized before, now they're being re-traumatized.
Yeah,
people are calling, making death threats and all of that kind of stuff. So we've got some soul searching to do as a nation in many areas, I think.
Hey man, I think that's good. That's a far longer conversation, and it's going to take some work. I don't know. Well, Doc, you're familiar. When you talk about how laws are made, man, it's sitting back, just almost like watching somebody make sausage. It's a long process, man. Long process. Hey, Hey, Doc, let's talk about something else that's fun for a second here, man.
Mhm.
All the talk around Shadeur Sanders making the Pro Bowl. What's your thoughts on that, man?
My thoughts was, what? Why? And now don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Shador fan. Okay, I love the young man. I think he is a class act, but I can't see him in the Pro Bowl. What is that the vote? The fans vote for the Pro Bowl players?
The fans do, but let me break this down for you, Doc. The basic fact that he's on the Pro Bowl as a replacement after another quarterback became unavailable. And that other quarterback is Drake May because they advanced to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
you can reasonably see he was an alternate, and when the quarterback who was making the Pro Bowl became unavailable, he got the pick. But then here's something that's also interesting. Flacco, who was on the Cleveland Browns squad, who got traded to Atlanta?
Yeah.
He made the Pro Bowl too. So just imagine both of these guys was on the Cleveland Browns squad together, and now they're both in the Pro Bowl.
Okay. So that's what is that? The NFC?
That's the
AFC?
AFC.
AFC? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but there was a lot of other quarterbacks in the AFC that could have been in there. I mean, I don't begrudge that.
Talk data, because if you talk data, the on-field resume versus the honor, Sanders started over 7 games, threw for over 1,400 yards with 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Number critics called not Pro Bowl level material. Perfect stat card to read on air, but that's not Pro Bowl if you would. But think about this. It's all about marketing too, because Shadeur Sanders has the number 1 jersey selling.
Do you know he was the highest paid NFL player this year?
How so? Talk about with the
endorsement and all his money. He had the highest pay out.
Well, one of the core controversies is many say popularity, celebrity plus family name. And come on, you can't discount the fact that, and I don't blame him. I mean, this is Deion Sanders' son, but they've been able to master marketing the family as a brand, and you can't knock them. Look at the Kardashians.
Well, if they, again, when you confuse tangibles with intangibles, then you get this kind of outcome. If it was strictly statistical factors, he wouldn't have made it.
Okay, so you go merit versus marketing. Come on.
Right, yeah. Truly, you're playing the game. The game. It's about the game. It ain't about who's popular.
But this is a game, but Doc, this is business. This is business. So don't you doubt for any moment that the NFL doesn't want Shadeur in the Pro Bowl, because what it does, it continues to be a money machine.
Of course. But at what point do you? I don't know. Had it been me, and I'll tell you this, I wouldn't have accepted it as a player. I would have said, I feel very honored, but I want to take the off season. I want to take this time right now to prepare for my new coach and to really help my team the way I know I could help them next year. So I want to focus on that. Thank you for the opportunity, and perhaps next year.
Hey Doc, that sounded so noble coming out of your mouth.
I would have, because number one, you got to grow into the Pro Bowl.
But Doc, this is business. This is business.
I don't care. Everything in the Bible.
So
See,
all you need to do is
everything
go out
ain't
on
about.
the field and get that one bad hit, and your career is gone, and that means your earnings and potential earnings. These are grown men playing a business game.
Okay, and can't that happen in this Pro Bowl?
And he's in the Pro Bowl making more money too.
I understand that, but it goes back to the marshmallow test. Remember we talked about the marshmallow test over the weekend?
Hey, so then
Do
if
you
yeah,
delay
yeah, we
gratification?
talking about the marshmallow test. You're right. And so I want to hear what you got to say with that, because if I recall correctly, and Doc, explain the marshmallow
Okay,
test
the,
to folks.
the, huh?
Explain it to people.
Okay, the marshmallow test is a test that was done where kids were given an opportunity to wait uh, for 3 minutes and get three marshmallows or get one marshmallow right now. And Western kids tended overwhelmingly to wait the 30 minutes to get the three marshmallows, while other kids from third world nations tended to take the marshmallow right then. Okay. And the marshmallow test shows the difference between delayed gratification and instant gratification. And of course, they were saying, well, the instant gratification was the wrong choice. But the reality is, it's just what you said. It could be that you get hurt and you never get to the three,
You're
or
right.
something happens, you never get to the three. So do you take that right now?
Yeah, but there's so many cliches. You can go ahead and counter
Yeah.
that one marshmallow, two marshmallow deal. And one of the cliches is simply this: bird in the hand is better than two in the bush.
Right.
And then here's something that we see more times than not: that when somebody wins the big lottery, they don't say, "Okay, I'll take the payout over the next 20 years." They get that one big payout. So that immediacy. And then the other issue with that is, think about what you can do with that money in your hand right now versus trying to plan out what you anticipate you may very well get.
Well, most people don't think long term financially. And a case in point, a young lady recently won the lottery, and she took the $1,000 a week for life instead of the lump sum payout, and people were upset.
Well, Doc, I'm gonna counter you again. Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah.
You got individuals that won that, and you had a lot of them that took getting, what was it, $100,000 a year for the rest of their life or something like that. And then Publishers Clearinghouse went bankrupt. Another company bought it, and the company that bought it is not honoring that payout now over an extended period of time. They're only honoring those payouts under, since they bought the company, and people have won since they bought it. So think about those folk that think to themselves now, man, I should have done it all at one time. So, nobody has a crystal ball. You don't know what's going to take place in the future. And so,
yeah, hey, you can get the one payout, and tomorrow the economy crashed, and it costs $1,000 for a loaf of bread. I'm just saying, you never know. If different things can happen, so
Well, man, I'm gonna reference some of those people that do know. Michael Irvin, who of which is a Cowboy great. He's a great. Michael Irvin talked about Shadua going to the Pro Bowl, and he basically said, "Hey, man, this is commercial engagement." His deal was, these are things that are business related. Think about Dak Prescott when he got hurt when he was waiting for a new deal from the Dallas Cowboys, and he got hurt 2 seasons ago. he is very fortunate that Jerry Jones honored that deal and he came back and signed a mega contract. But Doc, that don't happen that way for everybody. Look at the guy who got traded away, Micah. He had to go to Green Bay to get a big contract.
Yeah. And now look at what's the guy from Cleveland that was out?
From Cleveland.
That was the quarterback, and he was out this year.
Mondo. What is it, Mondo? Deshaun Watson. Oh, Deshaun, yeah. He's been out for the last couple of years, man.
He told him yesterday to go ahead and trade him. He see the writing on the wall with Shador. Say go ahead and go around it.
But Doc, what other team is going to want to pick up that contract, a $220 million contract? I think he got it 2 years ago. I think it was a 4-year contract, and he's going into the 3rd year. He was suspended the 1st year. 2nd year, he's been injured, and Doc still got a couple of years left on that contract. Who's going to?
Maybe they can negotiate it down. I don't know.
And those NFL contracts, man, they didn't used to be guaranteed like a lot of them are today. Those NBA contracts, those guys are, they're laughing all the way to the bank. But these NFL contracts, you got to get as much of your contract in your signing bonus as you possibly can.
Man, I'm all for these guys getting the money now, because when you think about the history of what players used to get paid, it's obscene. I mean, it's really obscene.
Well, when you think of some of the greats, and Doc, with time changing, I mean, we're always going to be, remember the Tony Dorsetts of the world. He thought he was getting paid back in the day. Walter Payton.
Yeah. They were getting paid.
Well, in that era, in that time, they thought they were.
Jim Brown. Brown and made more money in movies than he did his whole NFL career.
But yeah, you're right. But Doc, also think about Charlie Ward, who won a national championship for Florida State University. This guy was like a quarterback great at the college level, but then he didn't get drafted. But I think part of him not getting drafted was the fact that he let it be known that he was more interested in playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Than he was, so he went on, I think he was in the NBA for 13, 14 seasons. So he did well for himself.
Yeah.
Now I think he's a coach up in Tallahassee.
Oh, for who?
Man, I don't know who he's coaching a basketball squad up there, and I know Mondo can do the Google on that, but Charlie Ward is one of those greats. Hey Doc, before we continue to wind on down, man, there's some elections that are coming up. We talked about the county expanding the number of districts that it has. The county has a mayoral election that's taking place. You got 3 candidates that are running for Orange County mayor. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying these in any particular order, but you have former Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, who's running for Orange County mayor. You have sitting Commissioner Myra Uribe that's also running for Orange County mayor. And last but not least, that is the clerk of Orange County. You have Tiffany Moore Russell, who was also a former Orange County commissioner that's running. And so I think, I'm just really waiting to hear more about what these individuals have to say. What is their platform going to be for Orange County? I think year to date, and, Doc, I'm going to depend on you. I'm going to depend on Armando to help navigate me in terms of this little history.
Okay, so let me make sure that we.
But Doc, let me
other people because.
Doc, let me finish this. Let me finish this. So you have Linda Chapin, who was the chairman of Orange County before the charter changed for the mayor's position. After Linda Chapin, you also had, and I said the Honorable Linda Chapin. She was amazing. You also had after her, who was also a chairman of Orange County, was United States Senator and HUD Secretary Mel Martinez. In that order. After Mel Martinez, you had Mayor Crotty, who became the mayor based on the charter, being in effect. And then after Mayor Crotty, you had Mayor Jacobs. And then Teresa Jacobs. And then after Teresa Jacobs, you've had we have Mayor Jerry Demings. And when I say Mayor Jerry Demings, he's been the first at a lot of things. He was the first African American chief of police with OPD. And Doc, I believe he was the first Orange County sheriff as well, correct?
African American, yes.
African American, yeah, I'm sorry.
Safety,
the public safety director for Orange County, and then subsequently became the first African American mayor of Orange County. So in that order, and so now we're going to have a new slate of candidates and leadership, and it's just going to be interesting to really see what their focus is going to be.
Yeah, I wanted to give the whole list so we're not seen as partisan to anyone. The whole list of Orange County mayor for the next term is Saraz Ali, Randy Fust, Stephanie Murphy, Myra Uribe, Chris Messina, and Tiffany Moore Russell. Those are all.
How many candidates is that, Doc?
7 candidates.
Okay.
They have filed to run for that office. I know Russell and Stephanie Murphy and Myra Uribe. All of them are long-time strong public servants, and they certainly will bring a wealth of knowledge and experience should they win. And you can never go wrong with that. Sometimes people don't understand the power in having a broad resume in politics. It means that you can walk into many situations or offices and you can hit the ground running because you have an expectation of what takes place, what the customary order of business is. Mm-hmm. So that's a super strength, It's like when you stepped in and you took over the commissioner seat, Orange County, you shocked people because they thought you was going to be confused, and you came in up from day one, and you started effectively running the community.
But and I think, Doc, a lot of it is, and I hate to call myself this, but I was once a bureaucrat. When you look at the fact that I worked for several governors, Governor Jeb Bush, Governor Lawton Childs, Governor Charlie Crist, and Governor Scott. So I had something in my background to help me. But Doc, before we run out of time, we talked about Orange County. And boy, you did catch me off guard because it's 7, not 3. But I think also when you look at those financial reports, you can start seeing, who are those serious candidates going to be because they're going to be able to get their message out. But one last thing, Doc, we also have a major race in the second largest municipality in Orange County, and that is the city of Apopka. And we have, and I will say it, and I'm proud to say it, a good friend, the incumbent Mayor Brian Nelson, who's running for re-election. And we'll talk at a later date about basically the work that he has put in. But you also have former school board member and sitting Orange County Commissioner Christine Moore that represents District 2 in Orange County right now. And last but not least, you have City Commissioner Nestor, who's also running for the mayor's office. But the thing I love about this is the fact that when you are in office, you have a track record that you can articulate and tell people not what you're gonna do, but what you have done. And one of the things I can tell you, man, sitting up on the dais myself, when you're sitting up there, it's you and the issue that's in front of you, and you got to think about what's going to be best for your constituents. And when it's you up there on the dais, and you have to go ahead and let your vote be heard, it's not an easy thing, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't think it was easy when I was sitting on the dais. I give those folks a great deal of credit because, man, you got to have thick skin. But the other thing that you have to do is, then you got to advocate for your constituents, and you got to be willing to go to bat. Once you vote, whichever direction you vote in, you got to be able to stand behind it.
I agree. I agree. And again, you're looking at people with a wide range of knowledge. I've always been partial to the Nelsons. I've known the family a long time. I like Mayor Land. I got introduced to them years ago, and they have always had a heart for the citizens and Apopka itself. That's never been far from them.
Yeah, but Doc, I don't want to cut you off, and you people don't know you co-host and you're executive director, but you don't hold my feet to the fire in terms of time. But
it's 8:01. I'm sorry, I went 30 seconds over. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, but Doc, I don't disagree with you whatsoever. And there's going to be 2 debates taking place regarding the city of Apopka and the mayor's office. We will get those dates to individuals, but hey, we enjoy you joining us with Let's Talk Nation. Me and my buddy Doc, the general, will be back soon. He's on special assignment, and we know he'll be victorious. Doc, you don't have to go home,
but you got to get out of here.
We'll see you next week on Let's Talk Nation.